lot of the toy YouTubers did their top whatevers. I don't want to say I didn't feel like it, but like I didn't feel like putting all the effort into doing a top whatever. And I wasn't even gonna mention that, but when I was trying to find monsters to compare with these guys, I was like, oh well, work that in. So that was my top figure of 2024. Hopefully you could hear that. I had the speaker facing the wrong way. I wish there was a more elegant way of doing that. Like, I would have needed to use a third-party software to stream to be able to play the video, but then I would have had to be in my bedroom, which doesn't give me the table. So, oopsie. Yellow, TENIME here. Welcome to my top 10 action figures of 2024 that I said I wasn't going to do. Oh god, okay. Today's shirt is my artwork of Deadpool. I'm doing a heart. Yeah, I do that, but yeah. You can buy the shirt yourself. Link is in the description. Today's music is brought to us by Amorphous, Aries Beats, Diamond Ace, Ghost Grifter, Jiggler, Moochie, and Vira. Links are in the description. Try to angle it down more to... Again, I'm not the focus of the video, the toys are, so... birthdays. Yesterday was Brittany's birthday. Happy birthday, Brittany. I miss you. So I said I keep looking at the screen. I said I wasn't going to do this. And then I kept thinking, and like I kept like seeing figures around. I'm like, ooh, that was really great. Ooh, that was really great. And I was just like, fine. So, and I have some like cheats here too. So, now I have an honorable mention, because while I did not get this figure, until 2024, because I didn't ship my HobbyLink Japan private warehouse until January 2024, and I got the figure in January 2024. It was paid for, meaning it was released in December of 2023. So I would love to include this, but it is not eligible. But there's a reason I want to include this. So I got into My Hero Academia because Robo kept reviewing the figures. He reviewed the Figmas and the Amazing Yamaguchis and the McFarlane figures, and I'm like, okay, my initial complaint that, you know, I didn't want to get into this show about superheroes because superheroes aren't really my biggest thing. So why would I want to watch an anime about superheroes, especially when they look as gaudy like that? And like, the ones he was reviewing didn't look as gaudy as I was afraid of. And so I'm like, I'll give it a chance. And now it's my second favorite anime of all time. So, needless to say, I did some catching up. I don't know if you can see in that shelf. There's Eraserhead. There's All Might's like punch effect, and then you can see part of Hawk's wing. But my favorite character is Shoto Todoroki. Love everything about him, and the Figma is great. I love it. The Amazing Yamaguchi's okay. This is not but the honorable mention that I'm going to bring out here is just so good that despite it being a technical 2023 figure, I wanted to bring attention to it. And I should have done a review of it. Like, I had thought about it. Like, when I went to open the box, I was like, should I be doing this on camera? And I should have. I absolutely should have. It is the Kyoto Revoltech, or Revoltech is their different line. It's what they're doing the My Hero women in. I don't know. It's the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi My Hero Academia. Kirishima. I'm blanking on his first name. Aijiro? So there's nothing really all that special or unique about this figure that isn't present on all the rest of the Amazing Yamaguchi figures. The posability is great, the sculpting's great, the paint's great. The reason that I love this figure so much and the reason that I wanted to bring attention to it is because of the swappable parts to represent his quirk, his power. You can mix and match, you know. You can have all flesh with a rocky arm. You can go all rocky like I did. You go rocky face and hands and flesh body or whatever. But because of all those swappable parts, this isn't just a figure. This is a figure and a half. That's cool. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much it costs, and these are expensive. Like, if this were $10, this would have made it even cooler and more worth the money. Let alone how much it cost. Your retail was like $79.99 on Hobby Link Japan. But like, you get a figure and a half. Like, I just need another lower half, and I have a completely separate, powered down Kirishima. So that's why I wanted to bring attention to him. Like I said, I can't include him. I can't, in good conscience. I have a problem with those two. I have a speech impediment problem with conscious and conscience. I cannot, in good conscience, include him because he's technically a 2023 release. So even though I got him in 2024, the point of top figures of this year should be released in this year. I mean, not this year, but last year. But figure and a half, that's just so awesome. So it's, yeah, just as a figure in himself, as a figure in and of himself. Woo! Still waking up. Like, he's not necessarily any better than the other My Hero Amazing Yamaguchis. It's just, like I said, the fact that you get a figure and a half, you know, in terms of mixing and match, and you can mix and match. The parts. Let's see, the hand's gonna come off before the elbow does. Yeah, it's supposed to come apart. There we go. So, like, you can mix and match everything. Like, I want to say, yeah. So it's like, you could do a Rocky. You can give him his Rocky back and his flesh chest. So, like, it's completely mix and match all of the parts. So it isn't just a matter of, you know, swappable upper halves. It is, you can literally mix and match everything to your liking. I just wanted to go full pork. But when you do full quirk or full flesh, you get a figure and a half. So too much time spent to him already, but I wanted to bring that up just because it's awesome. So, and I mean, it's pretty great sculpting and paint. So, so here's my cheats. So I have a top 10, and while some of them kind of represent their entire line, I'll specify when I get there, but like, by and large, each entry is one figure, with a slight exception, or already going back. See, that's why I play. That's why I played you the video. You know, I'm an unreliable narrator. So my thing is, these are the top 10 action figures of 2024. So action figures have to have articulation, in my opinion. These are my opinions. If you want to disagree, please do it nicely in the comments. Action figures have to include articulation. So I can't include, say, the Funko Pop Disney's Robin Hood, Alan Adale, and I can't include the U2's South Park Man Bear Pig, but they're awesome. So that's why I wanted to, hey, you know, they may not be action figures. They have no articulation. Like some Pops, okay, he's got neck articulation. See, I was gonna say because some Funko Pops have neck articulation. Man Bear Pig is completely unarticulated. But like, yeah, so they're awesome, but they're not action figures. So, and as I have said before, and thank you, Kat, for helping me get that Alan Adale. Stupid store exclusives. Stop store exclusives. Again, you are free to disagree, and please do so nicely in the comments. My opinion is that if it is a larger scale, especially around 12 inches, and has a completely cloth costume, uniform, clothing, and especially some of them that have rooted hair, while I collect plenty of them, so there's no like trying to disassociate because I find them embarrassing. I have plenty of them. But when I take people to see my Hot Toys collection, I do not call my Hot Toys action figures. I call my Hot Toys dolls. And then one of these doesn't even support that argument. So my top dolls of 2024, the one that doesn't support the argument because while it is in the 12-inch scale, it is not 12 inches itself. And I would consider Mezco's 1/12 Collective, which have all soft goods, all cloth clothing. I would consider those action figures. I would still consider this a doll. It's the Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Rocket Raccoon with his Volume 1 gun, because it's my favorite gun. I love that rifle, and I hate that they stopped using it after Volume 1. And then the 3-0, and this is my favorite, my number one favorite. So My Hero Academia is my second favorite anime. My number one favorite anime of all time is Cowboy Bebop. So this is the 3-0 Spike Spiegel, which he is too tall for you to even see on camera. So yeah, I do consider him a doll, and I own this doll, and I love this doll. This doll's amazing. I mean, no other 6th scale figure can do this pose. And this is a character accurate. The gun and the cigarette holding arms don't fit the pose, but like when Spike kicks, he kicks high, he kicks long and wide. Like this is how Spike Spiegel kicks in Cowboy Bebop. So this is an essential pose to his character, and the fact that a figure in soft goods can do this. See, normally I don't like soft goods because this is the best, the Rocket is the best pose I can get out of them because the fabric hinders the articulation. Doesn't matter how articulated the body underneath is, the fabric hinders the articulation. The fabric is not hindering this articulation. So, yeah. I do consider Spike a doll. I do love this doll. But not only is it, he's not my favorite character. That would be Edward Wong Pepelu How Tivruski IV, also known as Radical Ed. she's my favorite character, but obviously you can't have the series without its main protagonist. And Spike is no less awesome than Ed. Um, really hope they make more, especially since 3.0 stuff is significantly cheaper than Hot Toys. Yeah, it's very. This is the embarrassing thing for me. Spike was half the price of Rocket, so yeah. Would definitely like 3.0 to make more Cowboy Bebops. Please do something that no other toy company has done. Finish the crew. Do Vicious, Julia, Punch and Judy, and I would consider that a complete collection. So don't do what every other toy company has done and just make Spike and Vicious and then cancel the line. Because I'm sick of that. I'm sick of piling up Spikes and Viciouses and never getting a Jet or a Faye or an Ed. Like, and obviously Ein would be a slug. Include Ein with Ed to make her more worth the price. So again, you are free to disagree. Please do so politely. Please do so respectfully. But I do consider these dolls, and these are my favorite dolls of 2024. So, and now we get into the actual list, the top 10 action figures of 2024. Number 10. So if you watch the Ariel Monsters video, you already know my number one. But like any other list, like any other top list, we're going to work last to first. So number 10, and it is surprising that a Super 7 product made it into my top 10, but it is not surprising considering how well this figure was executed. And if you saw my review, you already know what figure it is the Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Triceraton. This is, I don't know what I can say that I didn't already say in that review, but it was a figure I had as a child. Getting into the 2003 animated series made me fall in love with Triceratons. Actually, I wouldn't even necessarily say fall in love. It made me obsessed with Triceratons. NECA, please make more Triceratons. Also, please distribute the Gladiator better. I mean, I do have one, but these companies make troop builders and then make them impossible to find. So it's like, well, then how am I supposed to build an army if I can't find the figures? So it's, but this is not a review. But yeah, this is just, he's got the excuse me, woo! I didn't mean to do that so loud, but I was trying to like clear, because like, I don't know if you could hear it straining. All I've had all morning is some crackers last minute, because I was running out of time setting up. Crackers and water, breakfast of champions. I looked it up after the video. I couldn't remember in the video, and I looked it up, and now I can't remember again. I want to say it's nitrogen. I said that their atmosphere is an element found on Earth, so I want to say it's like a nitrogen-rich atmosphere. I could absolutely possibly be wrong about that. But just from the breathing mask and the vintage gun, and then the new edition of the blade, and it's just his size and the color plastic, because I know some people complain that, their stuff they just use so much sculpted plastic and so little paint, and it looks so like a toy, which A, it's a toy. B, I like brighter colors. I don't want my thing looking like it fell into a mud puddle and then I just shook off the excess mud and put it on my shelf, And nothing against figures with a good wash, but like some figures, the wash just is excessive and they look dirty. So I would rather have a clean, mostly sculpted plastic with very little paint figure than a dirty looking figure. But the usual Super 7 complaints, the articulation range is terrible. There's no articulation in the tail beyond the base, which is what the vintage figure had anyway. It's like, again, these are supposed to be ultimate, but I complained in the review, and this is supposed to be top. This is like, this is number 10. This beat out 11 through however many figures I got. So it's, despite the issues, I do absolutely still love this thing, and that's why he is number 10. So, I had thought about including McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Forever Batman, just because, like, I've never been a fan of the all black costume, and Val Kilmer is not the worst, but he's not the best ever, and I own the Batman Forever figures purely out of nostalgia. Like, love that movie. I went and saw it with my dad. The soundtrack is still, to this day, one of the greatest albums. Not just movie soundtracks. The Batman Forever soundtrack is one of the greatest musical albums of all time. Fight me in the comments. I'm coming for you. But, not my ideal versions of the characters. They're over there. That's why I keep pointing over there. I love how Homer, it's kind of side-eyeing just because I didn't frame him up as well as in the past. But he absolutely needs a wired cape, which is odd because Robin comes with a wired cape. But Batman doesn't. So it's weird. I mean, they're in the same wave because they both have the same Build-A-Figure pieces, and not the same, but you know what I mean. Pieces for the same Build-A-Figure. But it's not even necessarily a strong Val Kilmer likeness, but there's just something about that figure that when I got it out of the package, I was like, I like this figure. And while I do say that at least 10 times, I don't often say that about McFarlane products. I felt that the lack of the wired cape, which wouldn't have been a big deal if Robin hadn't come with a wired cape. If Robin had come with the same just limp fabric cape, that wouldn't have been a complaint. But the fact that Robin comes with a wired cape, but Batman doesn't, which, hey, it makes Robin a cooler figure. And I even thought for a second, I was like, maybe I should just bring Robin over. So yeah, he's not an honorable mention because I didn't bring him on camera or anything, but I did seriously consider bringing the Batman Forever Batman from McFarlane Toys. I check him out if you have any kind of pleasant. I didn't want to say nostalgia, pleasant feelings about the movie. Maybe just check out Batman himself. So, number 9. Where are we? Number 9 is the promotional photos made me want this. It was a 2-pack, and I hate 2-packs because even if I want both figures in it, and I did this time because they're both upgrades that far outweigh the previous versions of the figures or the characters. I don't like being forced to buy them both at the same time. I'm not rich, and I'm not saying that people who can buy multi-packs are rich, but it's I can't always afford to drop $50 if I want one figure. So it especially sucks when I only want one figure out of the 2-pack, or one figure out of the 4-pack, or the 5-pack, or the 6-pack. Like, because then the only other option is if I want that one figure, especially if it's exclusive to the pack, I'm going to be paying more than the pack on the secondary market. And then of course I always get we'll just sell the ones you don't want. A third of my apartment is cluttered with multi-pack items I didn't want and I'm trying to sell at cost or under, and no one is biting. So if you say, just sell the figures you don't want out of the multi-pack, then buy my multi-pack figures that I don't want, I'll give you a deal on them. Anyways, the promotional photos made me think that this figure was awesome. I got it out of the package. Having it in hand made me think this figure was awesome. And then I started seeing people complain about it. I didn't hear what the complaints were. I just heard that everyone thought it was a bad figure. And I definitely don't see it. And, maybe I should try and track down some of those reviews to see what they're saying and what they didn't like. But this is my number 9 top figure of 2024. It is the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Clones of the Republic Yoda. The fact that I have a 6-inch scale, so this is accurate to 6-inch figures that are 6-foot people, and he's not even 3 inches. He's what, 2.5 inches? He's not even 2.5 inches. So the fact that I have a 2.5 inch tall Yoda that can hold his lightsaber in both hands is awesome. The sculpting on his heads is awesome. The soft goods, you could call it, cheap and thin or whatever, but as I said before, my complaint with soft goods is it hinders articulation, and so it's like, being thinner, it doesn't hinder articulation. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know why everyone thinks that this is one of the worst figures of the year, because I think this is one of the best figures of the year. I absolutely love this Yoda. This is my default shelf Yoda. So, I don't know, man, but I love this Yoda, so suck it. Number 8, where are we? Oh, okay. So, as I've said before, I grew up with the knowledge of He-Man. Spoiler. But I didn't have any attachment to it. I didn't, it's like I knew a lot of the main characters just because of, I talk about my neighbor Bobby, who had all the Motu stuff, and that's how I got into, that's how I knew about Motu, and that's how I fell in love with Battle Cat. And like I said, he gave me his Battle Cat. So my vintage Battle Cat was from my childhood, and it was Bobby's that he gave me. Thanks again, Bobby. And he was like at least twice my age. So like, when I was like 7 or 8, he was 16 or 17. It's not like I was a manipulative 8-year-old who conned another 8-year-old out of his toy. No, it's this 16-year-old gave an 8-year-old his toy. So like, I knew He-Man, I knew Skeletor, I knew Beastman, Mossman, Trapjaw, Stinkor. I still, if you can help me find a vintage Stinkor that stinks, a Funko Pop Stinkor that stinks, and a Masters of the Universe Classics Stinkor that stinks, please, because just the smell is forever in my memory. And when the Origins figure was coming out, Pixel Dan had an interview with someone from Mattel, and they told him it would stink. they're mixing the patchouli in with the plastic, like the vintage. And even the card on the Origins says, it actually stinks. And then I kept hearing from everyone who opened their Origins figures that it doesn't stink. So I have it, but it's still sealed on card because it's like, you know, if it doesn't stink, then it's a bummer. But I'm glad the Masterverse figure doesn't stink. But like, you know, this isn't Stinkor. He came out way before 2024. I vaguely recognized this character just in seeing other iterations. You know, seeing the 2000X version, seeing the Classics version, seeing the vintage. It's like, I want to say, like, after Pixel Dan talked about the action feature in his recent Masterverse video, it made me go, oh, okay, then maybe I did see the vintage figure as a kid. It never stuck with me all that much. But I know nothing about the character. I literally only got it just to continue the completion of my Masterverse collection. I thought that a feature that the 2000X character had was really awesome, and I wanted to get a piece from the 2000X figure that I could use with the Masterverse figure, and then I got the Masterverse figure out of the box, and I can do it without having to buy an extra piece. It's just I wasn't expecting to love, having no nostalgia, no prior love for this character. Was not expecting to love this figure as much as I do. It is the Masters of the Universe Masterverse New Eternia Cyclone. The 2000X piece I was talking about was the back, like circular wings almost, and the fact that you can do that with his shield and the power effects made it for me. I absolutely love the removable face mask. Obviously, I love displaying him with the mask because he had it on already. But like, just and like Pixel Dan said, the chest on the vintage figure was like a hologram, like a lenticular. So the fact that this is like just like a clear dome and it's got like different layers of plastic underneath to make it kind of look like lenticular, but it's all like just physical plastic. Just yeah, I don't know. Just something about this figure. Like I said, I have no real affinity for the character. And I literally just got him to continue the collection because I knew enough about him and he looked cool enough for me to go, yes, I want that in my collection. But like, I got him out of the package and I'm like, this figure is amazing. Like, I really, really like New Eternia Cyclone. Number 7. Ooh. So number 7 is not a cheat because technically 2 parts of these are accessories. It's kind of a multi-pack. My top 2 favorite action figure lines that I'm currently collecting. And then there are 2 other lines that are starting to not necessarily give the top 2 lines a run for their money, but at the very least be like, you know, instead of me just saying these are my top 2 favorite lines and then everything else is whatever, the other 2 lines are making me go, ooh, these are my top 4 favorite lines, and then everything else is whatever. I don't know if I could tell you which my favorite is, which is why I have to say top 2. Because I go back and forth. Like, I constantly go back and forth. I'll say, this line's my favorite, and I'll say, no, that line's my favorite. No, this line's my favorite. No, that line's my favorite. So my top 2 favorite lines are Mattel's Hammond collection and Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified series. As I've said before in other videos, I was a dinosaur kid. So obviously dinosaurs are going to do it for me. It is a 1/18th scale. which is not typically my preferred scale. Though if these were 1/12 scale, I wouldn't have the room to display them, which might not make them my favorite. One of my favorite collections. Not being able to see it, not being able to, or having to sacrifice other lines just to display the. I mean, this collection already takes up a lot. I mean, that Brachiosaurus is almost as tall as my living room lamp. Not from the floor, but from the shelf that it's sitting on to the top of its head, it is almost to the top of my lamp. GI Joe Classified series. Again, G.I. Joe is one of those things where I grew up knowing about the characters. I knew Duke and Flint and Scarlet and Lady J and Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow and Cobra Commander and Destro and Baroness and Zartan and Major Blood. And so it took Sigma 6, which is odd to say, and then the 25th anniversary of G.I. Joe's to really get me into the property. And when I got into the A Real American Hero iterations of the characters, I really, really got into G.I. Joe. And I always say, I don't have nostalgia goggles, which I can't in this case. I do still take issue with a lot of original, specifically the designs. They're very much of early 1980s. Just they're not super detailed, and I absolutely loathe the original 13 designs just because of how boring they're all just in green sweatshirts and green combat pants and black combat boots, and that's it. Stalker has his beret. Grand Slam has his helmet. So it's so that's what I really, really loved about the Classified series, is it took these old, boring, overly simplified designs, and while the first couple waves, some people will argue they overcomplicated the designs, I still preferred those over, say, the retro figures that have been coming out that are the original designs. So yeah, I will always say, give me the Classified version and not the retro version. I do still have some retro figures though. Especially, I've got some Cobra Troopers. I've got some Vipers on pre-order. The Eels, because I missed out on the Amazon Eel. So the only way for me to get Eels was the retro. And then I didn't get any of the Snow Serpents, the retro Snow Serpents, because the deluxe was better colors in my opinion. For me, better colors for me. So I'm that's an instance where I don't want to say, there were better colors in my opinion. It's not even my opinion, it's my taste. And taste and opinion are very different. I absolutely love David Ayer's Suicide Squad movie. It is a garbage movie, and so I would never say that, in my opinion it's good. No, it's not good. My taste is I like it. Well, then you have bad taste. So do you if you think the original G1 G.I. Joe designs are good. You started it. You started it. I wasn't saying that, but you started it. So all of that build up to say that, given that it's occasionally my number one favorite line to collect, when Hammond Collection isn't beating it out, they go back and forth, like I said. Given that so many, not even so many, almost all of the figures are so good. I mean, that's more why it's one of my top two favorite lines. Yes, I am into the G.I. Joe mythology, but it's because so much of the line is good, and not just good, spectacular. It was so hard for me to go, well, how do I pick my favorite figure out of the collection, period, let alone just out of the ones that came out in 2024. So I went back and forth on a bunch of different figures. The only reason this one kind of won out, not even that I really have as that much of an affinity for the character. This is definitely one of the characters where I know little to nothing about. I am kind of into the faction just because it is the one where it's probably the one where I do the most cross-pollination, where I will take figures from other lines that look like they would fit with this faction and fit them with the faction. I have Outback Storm from Marvel Legends and Vampire Storm, Bloodstorm, as twin sisters as part of the Dreadnoks. I have Typhoid Mary, the Marvel Legend, as one of the Dreadnoks. I have Action Force, Valaverse Action Force Pandora as one of the Dreadnoks. So while I wouldn't say that the Dreadnoks are necessarily one of my favorite factions, they're definitely the most fun to supplement. And of the Dreadnoks that we got last year, Naugahyde, Porkbelly, and Yabo absolutely had to be my pick for my number 7 figures of 2024. I wish Yabo had articulation, especially when the infinitely smaller Raiders of the Lost Ark monkey is pretty much fully articulated, and this larger monkey is a slug. Not even his tail is articulated, but you have a fully, I don't think there's a joint missing that I would say, oh, hey, this needs this joint to be better. No, like, you have a fully articulated Warthog. That's just awesome. And just like, Naugahyde's a great figure. Like I said, most of them are great figures. He's got a cool look. I've always loved the slouch hat. I don't know what it is. It's just something about a cowboy hat with one side pinned up, coupled with an Australian accent. I really love it. So like, and you can technically put all of his gear on him. I don't like to there are figures in the display that have all of their accessories on them just because it looks better that way, but some of them just look a little overloaded. So like with him, I just fitted him with the bow and arrow. And I wish he could get into a better bow drawing position. I feel Zartan does it a lot better. I gave Zartan Marvel Legends Old Man Hawkeye's bow. And he looks great. He looks like he's doing the pose that I tried to get Naugahyde into, but like, so like I said, it was a matter of which classified figure from 2024 did I want to bring, and not just say all of the 2024 classified figures. So yeah, number 7.
I got Ninja Turtle PJs on right now, so.
Okay, all right. So this next one is not a cheat, but it ends up cheating just because of how I implemented the literal accessory. It is a separate character, but it's got a little articulation, but it's small enough that it could be called an accessory. Like, well, Yabo isn't articulated, but it's smaller than Porkbelly, and it's not as articulated as Yoda. So, but how I implemented it is, I've said repeatedly, and I'll say until I die, the Archie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures is my preferred canon for TMNT. So any iteration of Archie Turtle's characters are going to be my preferred version of that character. So when NECA gave us a Krang with Belly Bomb, I knew that it had to be my default Krang. So what you may not know about me via the video. Actually, no, I have mentioned it in videos. I haven't shown it. I will. I want to do shelf tours. I am army building NECA cartoon Bubble Walker Krangs as just nameless Utrom. But then the one in the android body is my Krang proper. So when I saw that Belly Bomb was coming with a Krang, I'm like, that's my Krang. So the Krang that came with this body is just I didn't have a bubble walker for him, so I put him on the little tripod. So he's just another nameless Utrom. This is my Krang. And actually, this Krang is going to get replaced with the one that is coming with Archie Shredder, just because I like the facial expression better. So again, nothing wrong with this. This became my default Krang. I like the... So it's while I hear that everyone else is going to get that Shredder and just keep the Krang on the Shredder body, I'm removing it, putting the Shredder head on, and then I'm putting that Krang in here. But move him off to talk about Belly Bomb. This is a unique character to the Archie adventures. I have been familiar with this figure since the early 90s because of the Archie comics. And so it was kind of like, I don't want to say weird or disappointing, but it's like, not having seen this character in any other iteration was kind of like, well, why don't they use him? So, and then, getting older, it's like, well, there's probably licensing restrictions preventing them from using him in other iterations, but it's just such a weird and cool design. He's got one eyeball at the top of his stalk, and his stomach is his mouth, and then he has eyeballs on his palms. Now, before this came out, a customizer made a third-party vintage version. I would love it. Being a singular person, it's going to be even more expensive than if it were like a third-party company doing an unlicensed or an official or import or whatever. So it was always out of my price range. It's probably worse now that it was so long ago that it happened. But so technically this isn't the first figure, but this absolutely technically is the first official figure of Belly Bomb. So not only did NECA nail the look and the sculpt and the paintwork of the bonkers design, but the articulation that they implemented into this figure was just so mind-blowingly good. The eye is articulated. So technically, that would be the correct way to have the eye, because you've got the shadow at the top. But then I flipped it because I had it at this lid, so that's where the shadow would be. His eye is articulated. So is his stomach mouth. His stomach mouth is articulated. That's not all. But wait, there's more. His tongue. It is kind of sculpted to one side, but wasn't expecting to. I wanted to show off the tongue articulation, but the tongue is articulated. The tongue is articulated. So the stomach mouth is articulated. The tongue inside the stomach mouth is articulated. The eyeball is articulated. Like, they probably could have gotten away. I guarantee people would have complained, but they probably could have gotten away, and they probably could have even had valid, manufacturing excuses as to why they couldn't do these things. But they probably could have gotten away with not having any of that articulation. So the fact that we get an articulated eyeball, an articulated tongue, and an articulated stomach jaw is just, it took, because I was looking at all the Archie figures, and I'm like, which Archie figure do I want to make? And like, I was like, ooh, Crying Hound. That's the first time we've ever gotten a figure of him, And then the Wrestling Turtles are just amazing. And then we've got, Leatherhead and Mondo, and then Jaguar and Dreadmon didn't come out in 2024, so they they would not have or Ray Fillet, they wouldn't have been eligible. But like, so I was looking, I was like, wait a minute. So Crying Hound, that's the first figure we've ever gotten of him, and then there's Belly Bomb, and just Crying Hound is great, but given his size, he should be a lot more articulated, or the range in his articulation should be a lot better. So the fact that his articulation range is limited, and it shouldn't be, and that Belly Bomb has these extra points of articulation that you wouldn't expect, that's why Belly Bomb won out, and he is my number 6 figure of 2024. And I'm out of room on the tray over there, so... number 5. What I didn't want to do, and I've already done it twice, and it's going to keep happening, I didn't want to repeat companies. But the problem is, most of my collections double up on companies. So you can't see the G.I. Joe Classified, but you can see the X-Men Marvel Legends, and both of those are Hasbro. I talked about Hammond Collection, and that's Mattel. I already showed a Mattel Masterverse, and then Hasbro, you saw Yoda and Naugahyde. So it's like, I didn't want to repeat companies, but it's difficult with what I collect and what I bought in 2024. So Transformers Animated is my preferred canon for Transformers. I love the designs. I love the animation. Rest in peace, Derek J. Wyatt. We miss you. But they're not my preferred designs. I would say Earthrise kind of nailed it, where you get the good ideas from G1. Again, going back to, simplified versions and then improving upon it. You can't improve upon it because it was the first. Okay. I'm going to do, trust me, I'm doing a separate video. I'm figuring out this animation thing. So my animated rant videos are coming. And I'm going to do a whole video on nostalgia goggles and the problem with saying that you can't improve upon the first version. It's a fallacy. If you prefer, that's fine. But saying you flat out, it's a fact, the first was the best because it came first. It's like, because it came first is not a reason why it's the best. But this is not a... Transformers Animated, Hasbro, Transformers Legacy United, Animated Universe, Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is my favorite character. I have so many red and blue transforming robot trucks. It is probably unhealthy. Optimus's animated version is so great. He doesn't turn into a semi-truck, he turns into a fire truck. And just, so the blast effect didn't come with him, but they did supply the port on the back to accept blast effects. So, and it is a Transformers blast effect. So it is Hasbro and it is Transformers. So, and I know in the cartoon it's yellow fire that comes out. I just think the blue looks better with the blue energy blade. there's something about, like, I like Prowl, I like Bumblebee, but there's something about the way that they translated Derek J. Wyatt's design into this more G1ified look that maintains all of the elements that they're trying to mix together. Like, this looks like a G1ified animated, Transformers animated, not just animated like animation, but the show, the series Transformers Animated is what is the title of the show. Just, it's amazing. Like, it's a great figure. Like, I mean, I wish this pose could get better. Like, you know, I wish there was some way to, like, get butterfly joints in so you could bring his shoulders in more. I wish the handle actually went longer like it does in the show, so it looked a little less awkward with him holding it with two hands. But, like, the fact that a Transformer can hold his weapon with two hands is pretty impressive in and of itself. Just his posability is great. His transformation scheme, the first time you do it, it's frustrating, but then every subsequent time I transform him, it's just more and more fun. And just, like, the head, it is, I want to say it's like 80%, maybe 85% animated, and then 15% realistic. And just, they struck that balance so well. It honestly, I like it better than the actual design of his face from the show. Like I kind of want them to, like, just go back and, you know, no disrespect to the memory of Derek J. Wyatt, but, like, you know, just go back and redo the show using this design, you know, of Prime. So yeah, so I don't know how much more I can really say about this figure, but this is my number 5 figure of 2024 animated universe Legacy United Optimus Prime. Number 4. Number 4. Number 4 is a Mattel Jurassic Hammond collection. And I said Jurassic because I believe that the name changes depending on what source the figure's from, like on the packaging, I mean. So, like, you know, you do have Jurassic Park Hammond collection figures, and then you also have Jurassic World Hammond collection figures. While it hit in early December, so it's still qualified for 2024, and it's an amazing figure, and I have wanted an Allosaurus so badly that I bought a couple of the really bad, like, action feature legacy collection ones, just to tide me over. One of them, the sculpting is terrible. The other two, the sculpting is good, but there's barely any articulation. They're for sale if you want them. I was thinking about making the Hammond collection Allosaurus my pick, because it's really, really good. But the reason that the Therizinosaurus beat it out, they're both dinosaurs from my childhood that I always wanted. Though the funny thing about Therizinosaurus is I always thought that this was more Deinonychus size, or the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Velociraptors. So, you know, 6 feet tall to the top of the head. So like I said, this is a... I have any 3 3/4 inch figures within reach? Yes, I do. The Funko Reaction Ready Player One H. So yeah, so this is, well, H is taller. I have, where's Artemis or Parzival? I'll give you Artemis. So I don't think Olivia Cook is 6 foot tall, but, like, so imagine this is a 5'8" person. This is how tall Therizinosaurs were. And I never thought that. I thought that, please don't knock anyone else over. I thought this is how tall Therizinosaurus was growing up. I don't know why I thought that. Yeah, I can't. I don't know where I was going with that. I have no real explanation. It's just, this is how tall I thought Therizinosaurus was. This is how tall Therizinosaurus actually was. So while it's still an adjustment to get over, the fact that A, we got one in a movie, and B, we got a figure of it, and I did buy the previous one with the action feature, and I am keeping it just because I do like the color scheme. I don't want to say better than this one's, but alternatively, if they want to repaint this one in the color scheme of the legacy version, I'll double dip. Excuse me. So the reason that this beat out the Allosaurus for my number 4 spot is the individually articulated claw fingers. Allosaurus doesn't have that. Allosaurus is well articulated. Allosaurus's fingers are not individually articulated, which I don't think I'd necessarily want them to, because they'd be, it would be like articulating Yoda's fingers. They'd be way too small and thin. You're looking to break it or accidentally pop it out and lose it. So I get why they didn't articulate those and why they did articulate these, because they're so big, but the fact that they did articulate these is why Therizinosaurus beat out the Allosaurus in the Hammond collection, taking the number 4 spot of my top 10 action figures of 2024. And yeah, the jaws articulated, of course. Yeah. Plus, something that doesn't work with every version, but when it does work, it's awesome. The Hammond collection does a lot of glass eyes. So, that's not just you can see, that's not just like a painted spherical sculpt of plastic. You could, it looks like his pupil's moving, So, it's just, like I said, when it works really well. When it doesn't work, they just look dead-eyed. So, all right. Number 3. The line inclusion is not a surprise. The character shocked the crap out of me, man. Jada Toys was known for die-cast cars. They occasionally put out die-cast figurines, but they're figurines. They had no articulation. They're usually solid metal. I've got some. I've got Rocket Raccoon, Optimus Prime. Like I said, even though it doesn't transform, I have a problem with that red and blue robot. So when they announced that they were getting into the action figure business with Universal Monsters, people were like, "You make die-cast cars." I don't have any of the Universal Monsters, but they looked decent. It was, with all of the companies that have been in the action figure business for so long that come out with a dud, it's like, how did you accomplish this massive pile of Triceratops poop when you've been doing this for 40 years? And then there are some companies that will come out with their, we're a brand new company, this is our first product ever, and there are problems with it, but you don't want to call it a massive pile of Triceratops poop because it's their first attempt. They've never made a figure before. They're learning how to. So when Jada comes out of the gate and their first offerings not only aren't Triceratops poop, they're not even necessarily learning opportunities. they're pretty decent. I do want the Wolfman and the Invisible Man. I just haven't bitten yet. And they're not, again, I don't think that I would have put, even if I had a large affinity for the Universal Monsters franchise, I don't think I would have put even phenomenal figures of them. Let me backtrack. I don't think I would have put the existing Jada Toys Universal Monsters figures on any top list of mine if I had the whole collection. So when they announced that they'd gotten some Capcom licenses, people were perking up a little more. They're like, okay, well, Universal Monsters is kind of like a niche, what's the Leonardo DiCaprio, Calvin Candy from Django Unchained is like, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. So it's like Mega Man and Street Fighter. Okay, so Mega Man comes out, Street Fighter comes out. These are your second and third lines, and you're releasing them at the same time, so technically you call them your second at the same time. How are these this good? Mega Man, Iceman, Fireman are amazing. Ryu, Fei Long, and Chun-Li. Sorry, I was trying to remember. It wasn't for dramatic effect. I was trying to remember who the first wave was. Ryu, Fei Long, and Chun-Li were amazing. It's like, you guys have not been in the action figure business this long. How are these figures this good? Then Wave 2 of Street Fighter came out. And it's like, it was that Vega and Dhalsim? Yes, that is an instance of me changing my childhood comfort. M. Bison is not his name in the original game. That's his name in the American game. If you didn't know, in the original Street Fighter game in Japan, the African-American boxer is named M. Bison because it was supposed to be a joke about Mike Tyson. Not a joke, like not at his expense. Like it wasn't a parody. It was an homage, or it was a loving parody. So like they weren't making fun of Mike Tyson. They're like, hey, this very capable boxer, one of the bosses that you have to fight in the game, we're going to name him Mike Bison. And then Balrog, which, as far as I know, is a Tolkien creation. Please nicely correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but there's only two places I've heard that word is in Tolkien and Street Fighter. Balrog was the skinny, clawed and masked fighter from Spain. And then I don't want my video getting restricted by saying this name. The German commandant figure, the ruler of the criminal organization Shadaloo, Shadalaw, spelled Shadaloo, and I've heard it pronounced both ways. I probably heard Shadalaw more in just the American translation, so I do technically kind of want to go to that, but it's L-O-O, not L-O-W, so it's like, yeah. So anyways, however I'm pronouncing it, if it's correct or incorrect. And it matters. If I'm incorrect, I want to say it the correct way. It's not the point. That leader, the man in the red military uniform with that military hat and the cape, that was Vega. So they bring the game over to the States, and I can't remember if they asked Tyson if it was okay, or if maybe someone from his camp was like, hey, we don't like that. You didn't ask our permission. You can't use that. But like there was some problem with the American version of the game calling the black boxer M. Bison. And they weren't calling him Mike Bison, it was M. Bison. So like, okay, well, instead of coming up with different name for him, let's just mix up some of their names. So the boxer became Balrog. The clawed and masked fighter became Vega. And then the military leader, the big main boss of the franchise at the time, they've added more, which I still like to have him over Akuma. I still like Akuma's existence and being, an evil threat. But like, I still like the Shadow Law boss being my big bad of my Street Fighter canon. I'm gonna do a whole video on fan canon. They made him M. Bison. So when I found this out, I was conflicted at first, but then the more I thought that Mike Bison should be the boxer, which means if I'm calling my African-American boxer Street Fighter character Mike Bison, then that means that I cannot call the Shadow Law ruler M. Bison. So I defaulted to the Japanese names. So he is Vega in my collection, and when Vega comes out, he will be Balrog. And then again, my Balrog M. Bison, Mike Bison isn't out yet either, but tangent, just to explain why I'm calling M. Bison Vega. Vega's not out yet. He didn't come out with Dawson. M. Bison did. They were phenomenal. Then Wave 3 hit. I haven't gotten DJ yet. He's dropping soon at Big Bad Toy Store. Not sponsored, but I love them. And it's not unfounded. I have the people who hate Big Bad Toy Store hate them for either no reason or for reasons that then they give other stores passes on. It's like, well, if you're going to judge BBTS on that, then why aren't you judging that other site on that? But this is not a review. So Wave 3 is supposed to be DJ, Cammy, and Guile. I only got Cammy and Guile. Guile, for me, has always been one of those characters where he's important, but he would be low on my list of favorite characters. If I'm ranking the characters, Guile's towards the bottom. So when I got this figure out of the package, Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 Final Challengers, Colonel William Guile. And I think that I think his first name is technically only canon to the Jean-Claude Van Damme version, but I want my characters to have full names, not just Madonna. I was not expecting this figure to be this good. This figure is not just the best in the Jada Toys Street Fighter line, in my opinion. If it weren't for my number 1 and 2 figures of 2024, this would be the best figure of 2024. This figure is so good, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. Like, I can't give you reasons why. Like, articulation range is good. Plastic quality is good. Sculpting is good. Paint is good. It nails the design of the character. I mean, you can get him into his, little, I can't remember if this is a winning pose or if it's an idle pose. But, like, there's really nothing that I would say that it does better than other figures. There's just something in the way that they all coalesce together. The sculpt, the paint, the articulation, and how they work with the character design that, like I said, was never my favorite. wasn't disliked, but it just wasn't my favorite. It's just all of that came together in just the perfect way possible. The Cammy figure is actually kind of a, I don't want to say a dud. The Cammy figure was kind of a step back for them. Like, I have more complaints about Jada's Cammy figure than I would about the rest of Jada's Street Fighter figures. But this, I still can't really explain why I feel that this is Jada's best figure so far, let alone my third top figure of 2024. Almost. I want to say the character design held it back, but Jada's execution of Mega Man's Cutman is so good. I almost went with him over Guile. I just, as much as I love my cartoony stuff, as much as this character design is very, very similar to my own original character, Bubba, who I'm working on getting a self-published graphic novel made. This is basically Bubba, his height, his proportions, like, just something about the more realistic character design of Guile beat Cutman. But Cutman would have been the Jada entry. Maybe I want to sort of include him in, not necessarily at number 3, but as sort of an actual 2024 honorable mention. As if I didn't do that with the Funko Pops and the 6th scale stuff, but Cutman's my favorite Robot Master, has been since childhood, and I've wanted this figure since childhood. There was a Cutman figure, I can't remember the company that made them, but the only company that really made Mega Man figures in the early 90s, I saw that Cutman, and I'm like, I want that figure. And I've wanted that figure since the early 90s. And 1992 was when I turned 10. So when I say early 90s, that shows how young I was and how long I've been waiting for this figure. And Jada did knock it out of the park. So like I said, the only reason that Guile really beat it is just the more natural human proportions over just the more cartoony design. And again, faithful to the design. So I hadn't intended, this is literally an ad lib. I had not intended on reaching back. I was going to mention Cutman. I was not intending on actually pulling him out. And he's not on display back there. It's just the Mega Man display is one of the lower shelves. And because of the leak in my ceiling, I pushed everything against the bookcases. So it's because I got him new and I can't yet pull everything out because I still need the ceiling fixed. Not a reflection on my apartment management. It's I have bins in the way that I need to clear out so they can come in and fix the ceiling. So I'm the one holding it up. But yeah, that's why I pulled Cutman out of this little cubby. So number 2, why I had to walk back the comment on. I wouldn't put even a phenomenal figure of a Universal Monster. It's technically not a Universal Monster, but I felt that statement would have been made incorrect regardless, because this is more based off of the novel from the 19th century than the early 1920s Universal Monsters films. So it is not a Universal Monster, but I would say it's close enough that if I'd kept that statement, I would have been called out for it, rightfully so. But my number 2 figure, and again, the inclusion from this line it should be expected, not just from me, but just anyone who collects figures and has gotten into this line should be expected that this would be a top figure. But the fact that this specific figure from this line definitely took me by surprise. It is the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura Frankenstein's creature. It's just a basic humanoid. So like it's not, don't worry, he's got panties on underneath his skirt. I can see his skirt. It's not a cool jackal god. It's not a cool panther god. It's not a cool monkey king. I didn't know what else to call. Like, so it's not a cool four-armed Christmas ghost. It's just a generic. It's not really all that generic, but it's like when you compare to a four-armed Christmas ghost or a jackal god or a panther goddess or a monkey king, it's weird that just a tall, stitched together, reanimated corpse beat those other figures out, but just the execution on how they brought this tall, stitched together, reanimated corpse, the way they executed it, it just blew me away, man. I don't, like, even if you go back to the review, you can see that I love it, but like, no more than I loved the Egyptian gods, no more than I loved, well, I broke pieces, she's been fixed now, but like I broke pieces on Ghost of Christmas Past. But like, yeah, it's just, and then the table is awesome. And the fact that the straps can hold him to the table. I only put the twist tie through the table loops and then under his armpits as a security, just to make sure that he didn't fall off a top shelf. This strap is holding him in. It's not the twist tie. The twist tie is the seat belt. It's the strap that they manufactured, and I only have the top one done. It's that strap that's holding him to the table. So like, yeah, this is definitely my number 2 figure of 2024. I don't want to keep repeating stuff like that. It's just, it annoys me when I watch videos and they say with every single entry. But then I also want to remind you, since we're 82 minutes in, this is number 2. So stop looking at the screen, look at the camera. If you watched my Real Monsters review, you already know what this figure is. And actually, I did bring all 3 of the versions because it's a trip builder. And I don't know if it's because of the autism. I don't know if it's because it's not ADHD. I don't know if it's because of the minor OCD that I suffer because of the autism. There's just something about, I know that this is an autistic trait. Collecting. It's not exclusively. Neurotypicals still collect things. There are still, I would probably say there are half of action figure collectors are neurotypical. But collecting is absolutely an autistic trait. And when I got diagnosed, it was like, well, that's not shocking. So I don't know if troop building, when you give me an action figure that can be a faceless soldier, if it's a Cobra Trooper or if it's a Stormtrooper, if it's a foot soldier, I don't know why I go so crazy for just getting a lot. I have 10 NECA Mirage Ninja Turtle foot soldiers, foot ninjas. I want to say it's a comparable number with the movie foot soldiers. I just don't know offhand. It's not a matter of, I have so many I can't count. It's just I recently added to the Mirage, so that's why I know that it's specifically 10. Movie, I'm not sure. I have fewer Toon ones just because the way that they made them available was harder to build, but I do have at least, I don't know, like 8. Um, I don't have a lot of stormtroopers, but I do have a lot of First Order stormtroopers. So, yeah, I guess that's technically stormtroopers. I don't have a lot of original trilogy stormtroopers, but I have a lot of First Order stormtroopers. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I can't explain why. I can't explain why I am the way I am in terms of troop building, but I get into it. Like, if I can afford it, I get into it. And again, this isn't news to you if you saw the Ah Real Monsters video, but my number one top favorite best figure of 2024, it's a long name, so I may need help with my notes, is the Fresh Monkey Fiction Big Bad Workshop Operation Monster Force Delta Red Urban Operations Trooper. And I did that without looking at my notes. I am proud of myself for remembering. And the reason I brought all 3 is because they are all kitted out differently. So as I briefly touched upon with no real examples in the Ah Real Monsters video, their vests can be stripped down bare, and they come with more things to plug onto it than you can fit on the vests, which means you can choose what goes on the vest and where it goes on the vest. And those same items are also pluggable onto the thigh straps. So the thigh straps come bare, and you choose what goes on them. So it's like, when I got the first one, like I said, I ordered him with most of Wave 1. I wasn't a big fan on the helmet designs of the 2 or 3 like nameless, faceless soldiers that I don't have. He's the only true builder I got. The other figures in Wave 1 I got with Dracula, the Forgotten King, and Declan Van Helsing. So if you go look up Wave 1 of Operation Monster Force, you'll see who I'm missing. I just wasn't a big fan of the helmets, though. Monty, you jerk. You are making me want that red soldier. So I might pick up one in the future. I can't afford it now, but and I definitely can't afford it now, but I want more of these. And I do have the Nocturnal Operations, which is the same figure, but it's a black undersuit with a tan. So in military, the colors are tan, olive drab. Urban camo is that, like, the camouflage that looks like pixels. Desert camo, jungle camo. I want to see if these are the official names. But yeah, so this is a navy suit with olive drab gear. Then the Nocturnal Operations is a black suit with tan gear. It's like a khaki-ish color. And I picked this over that one because I liked the navy and olive better than the black and tan. And then when I fell in love with this figure, I was like, well, now I'm just going to need at least one of the black and tan. And I can, even though they're in official Operation Monster Force canon, they appear, urban operations and nocturnal operations, they appear to be 2 different factions. I'm going to make the nocturnal one the squad leader of these, but I want more of these. But like, so like this one, I gave him 2 side holsters, which is funny because it's only a right side holster. So technically the one on his left hip is backwards, but it'll be our secret. They come with these blast effects. And then for these 2, I gave them the helmeted head, but with different face plates. Because they come with 2 different face plates, and then there's even a third head that's fully helmeted. It's got this kind of cool mask on it. I might use it, if I'm getting more of these, I might use it on a future figure. I just didn't like it as much as being able to see the vampires' faces. But yeah, so then like you look at, you know, I gave him the other pistol there, and then they only come with one. I think it's a Beretta. Yeah, they only come with one Beretta, but because I have three of them, I had two Berettas. Um, uh, so you can't get this figure in one package. So I had to buy at least two in order to do this. But so I did give him like it's kind of looks like a Walther PPK. Let's see if I can. I'm not sure if that is a Walther PPK, but it does look very similar to one. So if it is not, it's just a similar model that I'm unfamiliar with. I'm not the biggest expert in guns, but in my teens, I really started to get into drawing guns accurately, and so like I did a bunch of research, and so that's how I know. That's how I know the names that I do know and how I could identify them. So like that is a Beretta. I don't know if it's a 92F or a 93R. Like that I couldn't tell you, but that's a Beretta. Mel Gibson's gun, not it's Martin Riggs's gun in the Lethal Weapon. It's his preferred pistol. But like, so like I gave him. These are walkie-talkie pouches, but I did it for the magazines, which even though those are the magazines for the assault rifle, then I even gave him one on his back, just to like fully kit him out with ammo, and then I have him dual wielding, like I said, the dual holsters, and then my main guy. This was just the first. What's the word I'm looking for? This is why I got music, so you're not just sitting in dead silence. You can enjoy the music while I'm thinking. You smell that burning? No, I'm not having a stroke. It's like it's the wood burning stove powering my brain. I don't know if that's like a wide joke, or, you know, or if it was just my dad. But you know, my dad was just like, you know, if someone said they were thinking, he's like, well, that's what's burning. So this is my first. Why can't I think of it? Mixture, combination. No, none of those words are what I was looking for. But because this was my only figure at the time, this was my first way of fitting him out. So you know, I put grenades on one side. I put the Beretta in the holster on the other side. We got a knife on his back. He's got grenades on his shoulders. If you can see, let me get my Magno lights for you. He's got two magazines in the pouches, and there's just the armor plate in the center of his chest. Oh. So yes, like I went with that, and then Declan Van Helsing is almost the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same mold, and then it comes with a lot of the same vest attachments. So it's like you have even more. If you get other figures that share parts, you can do even more. I don't want to say customizing. Man, I can't think of the word, man. It's driving me crazy. So then this guy, he's got two knives, and then the knife sheaths on his shoulders. Then he's got the pistol there, and then he's got grenades, and then grenades, and then grenades. So it's like trying to, like, you know, make a cool squad here. But so yeah, those were my top 10 action figures of 2024. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm actually keeping better track now, so I had to like go back and be like, what did I get in 2024 that actually came out in 2024? So I'm keeping track now of 2025. I got a little folder on my phone that I'm putting pictures in of. So I don't have any yet, but I have pre-orders on mail trucks right now. So it's I'm expecting 2025 releases imminently this month. And while I don't know if they will make the top 10 of 2025, I will at least have a dedicated folder of everything that I got that came out in 2025. So it'll be easier next year. I might be able to actually have this out, earlier in January instead of the 12th, which isn't that far into the month, but almost halfway. Videos, upcoming videos. If USPS delivers my Rage Toys Samurai Force Summer third-party Michelangelo, don't tell. If USPS delivers them on Tuesday like they're supposed to, I will be doing a live review on Wednesday. Excuse me. I'll be doing a live review on Wednesday at noon. What is happening for sure, unless a catastrophe befalls one of us, God's forbid, knock on wood, Thursday, January 16th, is Kat's birthday, and she's coming over to host Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie trivia. We will be covering all 7 theatrically released movies. That is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, sometimes subtitled Turtles in Time, not officially so, I don't think. TMNT from 2007 from Magi Studios, who I sadly forgot in my Mutant Mayhem trailer review video. The Michael Bay produced Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, and then its sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which I enjoy more, just because it's just as bad of a movie, but there's more in it to enjoy, like Bebop and Rocksteady. So good. I have my complaints about Bebop and Rocksteady, but it's not even my complaints about their interpretation. It's just my complaints with. I'm a big South Park fan. I like potty humor. Kat and I went on for like 45 minutes last night, just sending poop jokes back and forth in messages last night. So, but there's a time and place, and I just feel like a lot of times, especially in kids' movies, just the potty humor is just, it's cringeworthy. And so Bebop and Rocksteady in Out of the Shadows are great, except for the potty humor. And so it's not my complaint about specifically, they did Bebop and Rocksteady dirty. It's like, I feel like it. If any characters that it would be appropriate with, it would be them. It's just, I don't want potty humor in my Ninja Turtles movie. Sorry, I don't want to hear Splinter farting. And then number 7 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which came out 2023. Come on, 2023, 2024. I'm not sure. Kat's almost done with the questions. Awesome, Kat. So yeah, so that'll be happening on Thursday, January 16th at noon. Live trivia. Please come join and play along. And then it is not a 2025 release, but my wait list came through on Mezco's 1/12th Collective Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Casey Jones. It's still processing. So that's why, I finished the thumbnail, but that's why it's scheduled for January 31st. And then in the title, it even says actual schedule to be determined. Just because it hasn't shipped yet. So it's, I don't know how long I'm gonna have to wait for it, but I'll be doing a review of it. So it's, the figure came out last summer, so it is not a new figure by any means, but because it's new to me, I'm gonna review it. Other videos, I don't want to talk about February's trivia until Thursday. So if you want to find out about February's trivia, stick through to the end of January's Ninja Turtle trivia, and we'll tell you. Any other toy videos? The other 2025 releases I'm waiting on in the mail. UPS says next Monday, which makes me impatient. But Hammond Collection, Atrociraptor, an actual Atrociraptor, not like I was calling the Pyroraptor Atrociraptor in my Beasts of the Mesozoic Cenozoic video. Stupid. An actual Atrociraptor, and baby Triceratops. So I wasn't intending on doing reviews of them. I haven't done any Hammond Collection reviews yet, but if you would like to see Hammond Collection reviews from me, let me know. If you would like to see reviews from me on any of the other figures that I showed, if you want to see NECA Turtles reviews, let me know. If you want to see G.I. Joe Classified reviews, let me know. If you want to see Amazing Yamaguchi or just any My Hero Academia reviews, let me know. If you want to see Black Series reviews, please let me know. If you want to see Masterverse reviews, please let me know. If you want to see Jada, Street Fighter, Mega Man reviews, please let me know. If you want to see Transformers reviews, please let me know. I don't do those just because there's so many other channels that do, and I don't want to say do them better, but I also don't want to say do them better as an insult. I don't want to like sound like I'm jealous that they're already more famous and established, but it's like because they are, more people are going to go straight to them. They're not going to search on YouTube for Animated Universe Optimus Prime review. They're going to go straight to one of the already pre-established, millions of subscribers reviewers who do those. So not that I'm against doing them, and not that I'm getting down about no one's going to see mine. It's just it's there's already a pre-established audience built in, and why should I try and muscle my way in unnecessarily just for views, just for algorithmic engagement? I obviously like them if I collect them. So you will have to let me know if you want to see me review them. Because I don't want to review them just for engagement. Like, I only want to review them if you want to see me review them. I have no problem if you don't. I have no problem if you want to go just watch one of the bigger guys with their better camera qualities. But yeah, so that's why I've been reviewing what I've been reviewing, is because they're less reviewed, or not reviewed at all. I don't know if I have any reviews that I've done that I've been the only person. I don't think I'm that special or unique. But yeah, that's because like I've said before, this channel is supposed to promote my artwork, and I want to incorporate my artwork with my interests. So this isn't meant to be a toy review channel. So that's why I was going after more niche ones. And I didn't do reviews of Operation Monster Force. I probably should have, and probably could have, but that's kind of why I did like a mini review at the end of this. But yeah, so please let me know in the comments below if you'd like to support me on Patreon, patreon.com/TENIME, TENIME. $5 a month gets you unlimited access to all behind-the-scenes artworks, works in progress, exclusive access to my Discord server, and then there's the $5 just behind-the-scenes access tier, and then there's a $10 tier where horrendously undercutting my actual commission rate just as an incentive. If you commission me to draw you a full body, full color character drawing, commission rate, you're looking at a lot more than $10. Um, a lot more than $10. So the fact that if you subscribe to the $10 tier for the year, you get a collage of 12 characters. I will draw you one each month. You get to pick who the characters are. You tell me who to draw. It'll go public on Monday. If you don't want to jump in just yet to see the finished version from 2024 for my patron Josh. At the beginning of the year, he said, I want 12 versions of Wolverine. So, and he gave me 4 or 5 of them and then told me I could pick the rest. I've shared some of the progress from the year on my social media, Instagram, Facebook. I deactivated my Twitter. I know for a fact that I did a year so far picture, group picture on Instagram. But Monday will be public to everybody everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, even though I feel like I'm just screaming into the void there. I get no engagement on Threads. I get plenty of engagement on the rest of the platforms. I'm on Bluesky. I don't think I've posted once. It's hard to keep up with, man. I just don't care. I have a TikTok that literally, I only made a TikTok so I could do little animated shorts. I have done no animated shorts. I'm instead, my 2 most recent posts have been like serious social commentary. And then apparently, it's getting outlawed in America at the end of the month. So, I don't care about social media. I just want to make art, man. I just want to make art and play with toys. Nobody wants to work anymore. Anyone who wants to work is brainwashed by capitalism, you sheep. Who wants to work? You're stupid. Apparently stupid will get you shadow banned on TikTok. The word stupid will get you banned on shadow banned on TikTok. That was one of my social commentary posts recently. Just the general kindergartenization of social media. YouTube, like I've complained in the past, you can't say certain words without seriously affecting your channel. I'll do a whole video on that. Definitely keep an eye out for my animated stuff. I know I've gone like 10 minutes over speaking about upcoming stuff. Hopefully you're still with me. I know you are, Kat. I mean, other viewers who are going to watch this after it's uploaded. Hopefully you're still watching or at least listening on in the background. I'm pretty excited. I may have found a way to do frequent animated videos for YouTube, and it's making me very, very excited as an artist. I haven't always wanted to be an animator. I still don't. I want to make comics. I want to tell stories with my art, but I want to do, book format. Animation would be great, but if I ever made like an animated story, whether it's a TV show or a movie, of my characters and my art style, I can't make that alone. That's unfeasible. It would have taken me 42 years to do it, and I don't know if I'm living to be 84. So all of my health issues and just the state of the world in general. I don't know if anybody who isn't already 84 now is going to live to 84, let alone me with all my problems. Tonight, if you're watching this live, every Sunday night I stream my artwork on Twitch. You get to watch me draw live. So please join me there, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So Midwest US. I don't, calculate that to your time zone. US is Eastern, which is an hour ahead, Mountain, which is an hour behind, and Pacific, which is 2 hours behind, Central. So, not that we're the center of the... I mean, Geographically, the Midwest is called the it's Midwest, so yeah. We are technically the middle. Um, Actually, I want to say Iowa is probably dead center, right? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if that's right. If Iowa is the dead center of the United States of America. But 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, twitch.tv/TENIME Art Studios, all one word. If you click on my Linktree link in the description, I have an automatic link to Twitch there. So I'm doing that every Sunday night, so please join me. If you don't join me tonight, join me next week. Join me in 2 weeks. You don't have to join me every week. It'd be cool if you did, but you don't have to. Please satisfy I had 2 new descriptive words I wanted to use, and I should have written them down. I don't want to keep using cruel, despotic, tyrannical. Help me satisfy the poopy bad YouTube algorithm by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Hopefully you've enjoyed the music. Hopefully it's actually shuffled all the artists I said. And when I've paid attention, it's just sounded like Amorphous, and I put his heavy metal on for a reason, but I wanted it mixed up with the more 80s inspired stuff of Aries Beats, Diamond A's, Ghost Rifter, Jiggler, Muji, and Vyra. But all of the song descriptions are in the links are in the description. Thank you very much for joining me. This was fun, even if I said I wasn't going to do it. Stay safe. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.